hello internet. It's your old beard buddy Jed Whitaker here, aka Jed05 all the places. And I'm here to show you what Destiny 2 currently runs like inside of Windows 11 on a Steam Deck. So I'm going to go ahead and start the game and you can count for yourself how long it takes. In the meantime, once it gets started here, I'm going to disconnect my mouse here. I'm using AnyDesk. Highly recommend if you have a Steam Deck to install AnyDesk in both Windows and SteamOS. Lets you easily remote desktop in, and then you can transfer files and whatnot with it like an FTP without any setup. So not sponsored, just highly recommended. I see a lot of people doing crazy setups and stuff with it with Steam Deck to get that functionality, when really you just go to the Discover store and install that, and then install it on whatever computer you want and you're good to go. All right, so the reason that I have it running there is so I can easily start the game since I have this docked and I'm capturing. You can see the CPU and GPU just dropped a bunch because I closed AnyDesk, so it's not using like any resources here. And the overlay that you're looking at is the overlay that is built into Windows 11 with like if you press the guide button on a controller, which yes, sometimes overlays and things like that can interfere with Destiny, but that gives you some idea of how long it takes to load. Right now we are capturing this at 720p and displaying the game at 720p. The settings for video, if you'd like to see them, you can see I have a VSync to 60, no frame cap, field of view 90, and then I have this set to low and I didn't change anything else. And it is displaying at 720p full screen mode. So right now 60, 59, 58, hovering around there. You know, let's go to the HELM. We'll pop around a few social areas and then I'll go to a few areas with some like ads and whatnot, just to show you, because I've seen a lot of people upset that Destiny is not supported in SteamOS, and I just kind of wanted to show the performance as someone who has like 4,000 hours according to Steam, and who knows how many hundreds of hours originally on Xbox One. I'm sure I could look it up on the API, I just choose not to. So here's the HELM. Is it running 60? Sure, it's running 60, and some people might say like, they might show you this and they'll be like, listen, Destiny runs 60 frames a second on this. And again, we're running this at a lower resolution than the actual Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is 1280 by 800. And this is running at 720p, so like 80 frames less, right? So you're gonna get slightly less performance handheld, but like minimally, all right? So yeah, it runs like 60 here. Now let's go to someplace like the moon. And we'll start down at Sanctuary and work our way up to Altar. So the menus and stuff, not too bad. I mean, you're looking at a few seconds to get things to load. Not much better or worse than just running on like your desktop, you know? Which isn't to say that it doesn't run worse than a desktop necessarily, just Destiny hasn't been running super duper fast for menus for a little bit here, especially when you're in the tower. This is installed to my internal drive that came built into the Steam Deck. So the way I have my system set up is I have it half partitioned for SteamOS, and then partially partitioned for Windows, and then I have another partition that's also internal that they share, which I only recommend if you like dealing with going into each version, like each OS, and then having Steam sometimes try to update and it causes issues. So I mean, it's annoying to deal with. So only do it if there's like certain games you want to play or can only play in like Windows, really. The other benefit right now of Windows, though I haven't tested out the new beta update that came out today, is Windows can display through the through a dock on HDMI at 120 hertz at 4K, and for whatever reason, SteamOS, GameOS cannot when using HDMI. So you can see this is just a public event, and just getting over here, we've dropped to like 30 frames per second, and it is struggling with just a few ads and a couple of other players to stay like a steady frame rate, right? Let's get some shit popping off here, right? A few turrets out, do some shooting, some gun stuff. So, I mean, it's dropping below 30 frames a second, but it stays pretty close to 30, right? And just to be sure, let's turn off VSync just to see what happens, you know? Just so people can say that it's like VSync causing problems or whatever. Maybe it gave us a few frames back overall, and trying to keep it a steady frame rate. You look, there's definitely a little bit of frame tearing. Not terrible, really. Some areas it might be a little worse. All right, now let's go to alter. Alters? Who knows, dude? I've said both forever. I still don't know. Alters of sorrow. I guess it's plural. First plural, last singular. Sorrow, singular. All right, let's pop over here. We still have VSync turned off, so we're gonna get a lot of ads and whatnot here, right? So this will kind of emulate in a way like kind of performance you're gonna get when things get wild, when things get heavy, when you're in a raid with some buds and you got Discord running in the background and using the built-in mic on your Steam Deck. Probably going to be a little bit worse performance than this if that's the route you go. I mean, this to be honest, and maybe it's just me, but this is like kind of hard to deal with, and I feel like there's just a little a lot of fuzziness and whatnot. I mean, my desktop has a 3080 Ti in it, so I mean, I'm a bit, I mean, I'm definitely privileged, but like, you know, maybe I'm just so used to it that this is just like not a good time for me. But other people, maybe if you're coming from console, I mean, maybe it's okay. I haven't went back and tried to play on like an original Xbox One, but I believe that the game has like 120 frames per second mode on like Series X or S and PlayStation 5. RIP Stadia, am I right? Alright, so we're like, things get wild, you know, things start popping off. It drops below like 40. Doesn't really get much below. That was smart of me. It doesn't really get much below 30 though, ever, right? Or at least on the moon. Let's go to Europa. One of the newer places. You can see screen tearing here, or since I turned off VC. Turn it back on here real quick just to see if it goes away. Did that actually take? I didn't hit the Y button. I did not. Oof. Somehow that looks worse with VSync turned on. It definitely drops the frames a bit. So there would be a scenario where definitely would want it turned off. At least for the menus. You can see it like in orbit and stuff, you hit a high percentage of, or high number of frames. 150, 140, you know. But this is where you hit the highest frames always in this game, so it's not that surprising. I mean, these are just glorified loading screens. I wish they gave us like a little Star Wars minigame or Star Fox minigame or something here. Come on, Bungo, do it. You want to do everything else Warframe does? Do that. Give us Railjack, baby. Alright. V-Sync's still off. Not much going on, but again, this is on all low settings, so I mean, this probably looks worse than the Xbox One base version. Show you an area here where it actually performs pretty good. So if you're looking to play Destiny and you just want to come do like Lost Sectors, performance in Lost Sectors pretty good. I mean, there's good reason for that. It's just hallways and just you and some ads, really, right? You can see the frames going up already. So yeah, in here, 73, 78, pretty good. Preferably, you want 60 or above, right? At least that's how I feel. I feel like at this point, I really only play games at 30 frames or less if I have no other choice, you know? Like it's something that's like a Nintendo Switch exclusive or locked to 30 frames per second for whatever reason. Sorry, I'm kind of like losing my voice, so hopefully I'm not too annoying here. Also really not running anything all that fancy at the moment. Just I had this on for running some mayhem earlier to get my stasis weekly challenge done that I just never did, and to do the mayhem one as well from I think week 1. As if I need to do the challenges anymore. I'm like rank 300 and something. But yeah, I mean at this point, pretty deep in here, and oh, we just dropped below 60, I think for the first time there, as it was loading these enemies in. Let's free all these guys too, just to see how low we can possibly get it, you know? See if this even makes a difference. And V-Sync off, you can see the screen tearing a little bit there. Not that noticeable really, unless you're like looking for it. Oh, well. Or is it Mr. Chicken Vex? Dude, I started calling these things Chicken Vex like day one. I see it like a lot of people call them. Not that I'm a trendsetter, just they look like chicken, you know? I call them how I sees them. I'm a straight shooter. So we got lots of helpers popping off. We're still staying pretty good here. So I feel like there could be an argument to, you know, you want to do a Lost Sector? All right. Oh, I popped my super and it's like bringing the frame rate down big time. Stasis, 2 OP for Steam Deck. Oh, Pog. All right, let's check. I don't know. Where else can we check that would be interesting? Savathun's Throne World? Sure. Why not? As you can see, the load time's not the best. So if you love waiting forever to load into the tower, you're gonna love playing on Steam Deck. I will show you the way that I play Destiny after this. Because I do use Moonlight to stream most of the time to my Steam Deck if I'm playing Destiny, because it's just a way better experience in my opinion. Even like control wise, I feel like it feels better. So we'll just do a quick zoom through here. So we're at like 40 frames a second already. 39, 40, 45. So yeah, I mean, Savathun's Throne World, not the most PC optimized. You don't get great frame rates here in general. But Bungie's this is like Bungie's first, I think, expansion that they completely handled doing the PC stuff on. Getting a little loading buffering there for a split second. Oof, these trees. Everything loading in. It doesn't look very very good on low setting. Over here in the miasma. So yeah, like sub 50. The problem for me playing this way is that the frame rate just like bounces all over the place, and for the game feel, like it just does not feel as good. Like the controls just don't feel as solid because you're like going between, you know, these frame rates. So your visuals and your controls are not necessarily always the same. Like imagine if like it's like a treadmill, right? And you're like going faster and slower randomly and trying to keep your pace. Like that's kind of how it feels when your frame rate bounces around this way. See, more like inside areas, like patrol areas do run kind of bad, but like areas here, 60, 65, not terrible. Just for shits and giggles. One more thing. Let's go run the old classic Lake of Shadows. And see how long it takes. I won't do the whole thing. I'll definitely have to put some timestamps in because I'm not editing this and it's like already at 20 minutes. Nobody wants to watch me play Destiny randomly for 20 minutes, but I'll have some timestamps in. If you're this far in the video, you've already seen that, and I'm just rambling to myself. Congratulations, me. I don't want to like mess around too much here. Really chugging there. This season, not my favorite. I'll just say that about the current season. What is it? The season of the plunder or something like that? I say this and I'm like level 300 and some, so I know it sounds ridiculous. I mean, I haven't minded getting, like, just focusing on getting the weapons crafted. I mean, that's mostly what I've been doing now. Grandmasters come out tomorrow, so pretty set for those. Be nice to get some mats and whatnot. I wouldn't really care about the Conqueror title. Gilding titles, not that exciting to me. Sorry, Bungie and everyone that loves it. Having a little tiny golden number next to my name doesn't make me feel better. I'm happy for the people that it does, but not this guy. My teammates probably hate me because how long it's taking to load in. It's been quite some time here, you know? Let's see, do we have any console players? Oh, well, they're on console as well, so that could be part of it. I mean, it's hard to say, you know? Certainly not a smooth transition between menus there when you back out. If anyone's wondering, yes, I do have the 4G VRAM, whatever it is. Oh, a beat code. I guess we'll go try that again. Meanwhile, let me see what this beat code is. Destiny 2 beat code, because I don't know that I've ever gotten that one. It says to install the latest drivers for your video. I'm gonna turn this off for a second. See if that makes any difference loading in. You know, very well may have been a coincidence.
Mobilizing fire team for operation.
Just to see, let's.
Why does this say baby dog?
Let's turn on the in-game display.
The striking generator.
Oh yeah, you can see up there, it's still bouncing
Well,
under 40 at times.
Baby dog. Well, the strike protocol is already running.
But let's see. Maybe we get further in here, out of the patrol zone, and maybe it's fine. You know, maybe you just, maybe somebody out there is like, you know what? I'll suffer through some bad patrol zone frame rate.
I'm sorry, I can't. Stand by, fire team.
To get in
They haven't been this
some strikes, you know?
menace the system since Oryx. Are you ready for anything?
Dude, it's like hitching and shit. Pretty bad. We'll at least go until we get into the first area. inside here and see how that feels. Since we're gonna have two other players.
I'm still tracking taken energy nearby. They're all over the water facility and under it. If the Taken wanted to poison the entire dead zone, this was the place to do it. They didn't pick it by accident.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So inside
Underground.
inside areas, even with other players, runs pretty decent. Patrol zones run like garbage in my opinion. But even then, once enemies spawn, just 3 thrall, right? I'm dropping like 10, 15 frames a second. I'm just zooming here to try to push on and get through. I mean, this is one of the oldest strikes in the game, right? So if anything's optimized, you would think it would probably be this. Alright, you get the gist of it. So let me show you how I prefer to actually play on the Steam Deck. Alright, so we're gonna quit out. Let me relaunch AnyDesk here. And we're gonna reboot to SteamOS, in fact. Gonna have this up for a little bit until it displays my bootloader. Use the refine bootloader. Pretty easy. There's like one script you have to run now. When I did it, you had to do like everything manually, which was kind of a pain, but it is what it is. Yeah, there's my bootloader. Steam. Alright, we're back. I'm gonna have to do some editing, I guess. So anyways, I can't capture Moonlight here and stream from my computer just because of the way that the video card uses or is used to encode so the stream. So if you use Moonlight on Steam Deck, on SteamOS, it will just launch your desktop like this, and then you have to hold the Steam button and use the right touchpad while holding the Steam button down to then go select play with the right trigger on Destiny 2. And then you'll be able to see the latency here between the two, which really, in my experience, there's little to none, at least that is noticeable. Destiny taking its sweet time to launch. Now again, I do have this running on Wi-Fi. I mean, it's going to be probably better if you have it wired with a wired dock, but it's no big deal either way, right? As long as it works, it works. Steam Deck, its screen is just a little bit darker than the brightness on my desktop here, so I turned it up a little bit to try to match them. You can see the circle here, pretty hard to tell the difference between the two. Let's pop back in. So right now you can see we're running 60 frames a second, but we're actually rendering and running the game. If it would focus, it's a little small there. 204 frames per second, right? And we're running max everything. I'm going to drop this to my monitor's resolution, which is 1440p. But otherwise, we are maxed out. Go ahead and crank this back up to full field of view. Frame rate cap on to just below my monitors. Otherwise, we are the highest settings. Now, let's go back to the moon. To Altars of Sorrow and see what that's like. If you're wondering, Jed, is this Steam Deck pretty heavy to hold with one hand? The answer is not really, because I lived. But yes. A lot of people seem to think that Moonlight's going to have like a ton of latency, but if you can tell the difference between those two videos, I can't. All right. I'm going to have to hold this kind of weird here to show you, but and I mean, I do have a good router, good Wi-Fi setup. I mean, I will admit, and I do have a 3080 Ti, but I mean, just look how smooth this is. Like, here, I'll button swap. I mean, it's just an overall better experience all around. Like, I play this way all the time. Like, when I'm sitting on my couch, this is how I'm playing Destiny too. The only negative is if you really look at the Steam Deck here, it's not filling the full screen, but I'm sure I could go in and tweak some settings to get it to be that 1280 by 700 or by 800 if I wanted to. I just haven't ever bothered. And here's the kicker. Since there's gyro built in to the Steam Deck, you can map it. So left trigger is going to be your gyro, and then you can aim with it. And unfortunately, it decided to not work right now. What? Of course. Oh, there it goes. I don't know why it wasn't working. But yeah, so left trigger will activate it and you can just move. I mean, you have to go in and set this up. I think I've shared my my settings for this. You can also aim with the right touchpad if you want, but I never really have that good of a time with it. But it really has changed the way that I play Destiny too. When aiming with the gyro like this. Like, it really does like help you get those headshots that maybe you would be missing. And sometimes like you just stop using the right stick and you just let the gyro aiming take over. And it feels good. So I mean, if you get a Steam Deck, this is definitely the way to play it. I don't see Bungie ever really putting the time or money or effort in to get it running great. At best, they may introduce like some kind of streaming version or like, you know, put it up on like xCloud or something like that, but just if you can tell the latency here, I can. Anyways, this is killing my arm, so that's the way to play the Destiny. The Destiny on the Steam Deck. Moonlight, baby. I'm Jed05, all the places. Toodles.